Today, it's time for the news. Don't go anywhere. What is up, YouTube and all my fish keeping friends? How's it going out there in fish tank land? This is Joseph Hardin from Jeffroz Aquatics, and today, of course, it's time for the news. This is Joseph Hardin with Jeffroz Aquatics. You're watching #FISHFAM News. We have a little bit of sad and unfortunate news this week. First of all, we have Alexander from the Secret Life Living in Your Aquariums. He was unfortunately struck by lightning this past week. He was hanging out on his porch on his third story. His home was hit by lightning. It was covered with aluminum siding, so the electricity ran down the side and it went through him. This caused him to have few of his fillings blown out and other teeth shattered. He did get some burns as well in his legs, and he also suffered some bruises when he was thrown about 7 or 8 feet back into his house. His dental bills are looking to be pretty expensive at this point, so there has been a GoFundMe account set up for him. I will put a link to that in the description below. Bob of Steenfott Aquatics has been pretty sick over the last few weeks, as most of us might know. It got a little bit worse this week. It looks like he has lost his voice, so he hasn't been able to live stream or create too much content. The doctors say that it's going to take about 2 weeks for his vocal cords to heal, so in the meantime he's been putting out some channel spotlights and some of his tank tour content. Joey, the king of DIY, has also suffered a few fish losses this week. He did lose one of his Asian arowanas in the large tank, and he also lost his eel. It looks like he had forgotten to put the lid back on top of the aquarium, and the eel escaped and was found on the floor. I have had this happen to me before, but I was lucky to have the eel survive, and he's still alive in my tank to this day. Eels are well known for escaping like octopus out of their tanks. I think that this is a good learning experience for all of us to be a little bit more mindful of our fish. The fish nerd had a few fish losses as well. He was quarantining some fish that were given to him from a friend when he woke up one morning and found 3 of the fish dead on the bottom. He had been medicating them for some skin fungus and what looked to be ick. It took him a minute to figure out exactly what had happened, but it seems that he had pinched off the air line to that aquarium, which suffocated the fish on top of all of the medication and the water column. But I'm just kind of wondering if it's not the angelfish that wanted a little bit more room in that tank. On a much lighter note this week, Dustin of Dustin's Fish Tanks put out a really interesting piece of content about the 5 most horniest fish in the aquarium hobby. First, he went over the elements that really get a fish in the mood, and he also compared that to the behavior of humans. Then he goes through his top 5 most horniest fish in the hobby. I have to say this was a pretty funny video, but it also had a lot of good information as well. Dan's Fish shares with us how he cycles his 125-gallon aquarium without fish. He shows how he uses snails, redworms, and other microorganisms to cycle the aquarium. He even uses used spawning mops to build up the nitrifying bacteria and start the nitrogen cycle. I have to say I really do love this method, and I use a similar technique myself. Freshwatertanks gives us a very short but sweet piece of content this week about his discus spawning on a stick. There was a very nice video of some close-up shots of 2 beautiful discus while they spawn, fertilize the eggs, and protect them as well. Bob Caylor shares with us his summer tub that's stocked with swordtails, mollies, and their fry. This is a very simple self-contained grow out tub with a really healthy portion of water wisteria growing across the surface. There was a lot of leaves that naturally fall into this tub and create a nice level of tannins in the water column. Jeffroz Fish Keeping did another piece in his series on Plecos versus food. This week he decided to feed his Plecos corn on the cob. These Plecos looked pretty darn interested in this corn on the cob, but they seemed to have a really hard time eating it. They didn't manage to get through the skin of the kernels. I noticed that they did get through the skin of some of the kernels and they devoured those kernels, but I would kind of recommend maybe trying to cut the heads or the tips of those kernels off and see if that would make it a little bit easier for the Plecos. Unconventional Aquatics needs our help this week. He has set up a monster aquarium in his screened-in porch. It's pretty much a large baby pool with a metal frame. He did have a few problems with leaks in the liner, but he has managed to fix all of those leaks, and now it seems that his problem is electrical. The outlet on the porch is no longer working after it did work a few times in the beginning. He's checked the breakers, and that seems to be fine. He's also checked the GFIs, and those seem to be fine as well. So at this point, I'm pretty sure that it is the outlet that is just burned out. But if any of y'all might be able to help him with that, go ahead and check out his video and leave a comment for him. This week, Mark's Shrimp Tanks is celebrating 20,000 subs. Congratulations to you. In celebration of the 20,000 subs, he is doing a mega giveaway of lots of different fish food and whatnot. If you're interested in that, go ahead and check out that video to see how you can win. And in personal news this week, I do have my new camera, the Sony a6500 from Jimmy from Swisky Visions. I'm using it right now, so if it's acting a little funny, it's probably because I don't know how to use it yet. So I'm looking forward to studying really hard and getting better with my camera work. It's definitely a major learning curve for me, but I'm really excited, and there's no other way to get better but to learn and through experience. So I do want to say thank you all once again to all of you that have supported me and helped me to get this camera, and I do thank all of you out there that just motivate me, inspire me to continue to make more content. On top of that, I have completed all of my final purchases of items that I need for my trip to Peru. I have some clothes still coming online. I hope everything arrives here before I leave. I am super stoked about this trip to Peru, and I look forward to creating a lot of really killer content for you guys. I definitely know this is going to be a life-changing experience. Don't forget about my 2 Teespring campaigns, one of which is my #FishFam News t-shirt. And remember, Patreon is my only real funding for my channel, and I will leave a link for that in the description below as well. And please keep in mind, there are links to all of the content I've talked about today in the description below, so check all of those videos out. I'm Joseph Hardin from JH Aquatics. You've been watching #FishFam News. Have a good week. Thank you guys so much for watching the #FishFam News. It means so much to me. And remember, there are links to all of this content in the description below, as well as a link to Alexander's GoFundMe account, and I also have a link to my Patreon account. But I want to say thank you so much for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And if you're not subscribed to this content, you like it and you want to see more of it, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down below. And remember guys, keep your tanks clean, your fish fed, and have fun.